I do this now. This is where I go. I go to Vegas via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network, RJ Bell, pregame.com, exclusive odds provider to the Associated Press. All right. So now we got the committee's top 10. What you are providing our audience now, RJ, is your top 10. Explain what your top 10 means for your company and the Associated Press.
What we do is give the Vegas perspective, Colin, and it's really simple. Who would win each game? This is all about how good a team is. Nothing about how good their season's been so far. A team could lose 3 games in a row and still be in our top 10. Unlikely, but it's only about how good you are, who would be favored if they played each other.
You have Ohio State much higher than the committee, 3. Miami much lower at 9. If they played on a neutral field, and I've said this, with college football, I want to see you out of your comfort zone. I want to see Georgia on the road against Auburn and Notre Dame on the road. Miami hasn't played a great team on the road. If Miami played Ohio State today, what is the line?
Neutral field, we'd be about 5 points the Buckeyes favored over Miami, so a clear favorite.
Okay. What are Ohio State's chances going forward when you look at the committee's rankings?
Now, this is fascinating. If Alabama wins out, so Auburn and the SEC title game, and Ohio State wins out, the Buckeyes are in unless we're missing something big. So think about it. Bama would be in that case. The Miami-Clemson winner would be in that case. And we're even assuming Oklahoma wins, which they might not. They would be in. Buckeyes would be number 4 in that spot. And think about the teams ahead of them. Notre Dame, you're exactly right, Colin. Because of the key wins over Michigan in this hypothetical and Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game, Buckeyes would jump Notre Dame, and every other team would inevitably lose ahead of them. So it's amazing to think if Bama wins out, Buckeyes control their own destiny. Now, if Bama doesn't win out, it's Bedlam.
I root for Bedlam. I like Bedlam.
I like it too.
Okay. How good is Alabama? Now, my friend Jason McIntyre pointed something out the other day. He said, Alabama has 3 or 4 linebackers out for the year. They don't pass the ball. They're not that efficient throwing the ball. Better than last year, but not great. When you're in Vegas, is this a great Alabama team or a good Alabama team? Do they think they win out?
A couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, the thought was this was the best Bama team ever. There were some people feeling that. Obviously, the cluster injuries at linebacker, Jason's right. That's a negative, especially against mobile quarterbacks, which historically have been a problem for Saban. And additionally, obviously, Bama was not that impressive last week. So now they're brought back down relative to history to about the same quality team as Bama last year, right, which obviously made the playoffs and lost in the title game. So not any worse than these prior teams, but not any better right now.
Let me ask you about, Wisconsin. I think they're very good defensively. Again, I don't have an impressive road win. I don't count Nebraska. So Miami and Wisconsin, I love their stories, but I want to see something on the road. Does Vegas buy Wisconsin? If Wisconsin played Bama today, what's the line?
Oh, that one's scary. Let's actually talk for a minute first about Wisconsin against Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. Very possible, if not likely matchup. Buckeyes would be almost a touchdown favorite.
Wow.
2-loss Buckeyes, touchdown favorite over a winless at that point Wisconsin. Now, if Wisconsin played Bama, you're looking double digits for sure, moving towards 14.
Wow. So that, listen, I'm defending Miami and Wisconsin, but in Vegas, there is a clear gap. Now, do you guys, the feeling, and I've been on this, because I think they've made some coaching snafus, I think the SEC is weaker than usual. And let's put this is the pregame.com top 10. So you've got an SEC, a Big 12, SEC. So 3 of your top 6 are SEC. Are we overplaying the demise of the SEC?
Well, they haven't really played each other yet, right? So you look at Bama, for example, what's been their toughest game? As we look back with Florida State, which was supposed to be a tough game, that Florida State team, by the way, Colin, only team in the country the Seminoles have not covered a single spread. If you had bet Florida State every game this year, you would have not cashed a single ticket, all right? So Bama's win looked good. In hindsight, we reevaluate that. Obviously, Mississippi State was a tough game. So most of this love of Bama is on pedigree, right? We're going to see what they do against Auburn. By the way, that's a 3.5-point favorite.
Yes.
So Bama on the road there, only favored by 3.5 or so against Auburn next week. And if it was the title game against Georgia, which is, I think, almost locked in, Bama would be maybe 5 or 6 in that game. So they have 2 games coming up in which they would be less than a touchdown favorite. Bama winning both of those games would be less than 50% right now.
Wow.
So Bama winning out is less than 50%.
That tells me that there's a lot of that. I mean, what really shows me the Bama Auburn line opened bigger. It's now down to 3.5. What basically you just said today is Ohio State controls their destiny if Bama wins out, and Bama winning out is a coin flip. And I don't think a lot of people believe that. Throw it up one more time, pregame.com. You can check it out right there. Miami, they've got 9. Ohio State 3. RJ Bell, great talking to you, bud.
Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff to me. All right, coming up next, buy, sell, or hold.